Hey, how's it going? So, this is the Temperature of Us channel, and, that's generally what I kind of stick to, like, how's everybody feeling? And I wanted to come on and do this more for, like, practice, and just sometimes I'm just sitting there and it's like, you should do some cards right now. It just occurs to me, so I'm just gonna listen to that. Here, I'm giving you the opportunity to please look at my signs. I don't know why I started that with here and then yanked it away. There you go. So I was just gonna, pull them for myself and go just leave it at that, but nope. Oh, okay, so yeah, like I was watching some stuff, like I guess newsy stuff, and well, one thing was watching Sam Cedar, who has a show on YouTube called The Majority Report, and he's on there with Emma Vigeland, and they'll have guests, and Matt Leck is there. Actually, I don't know what you call his position, but he talks as well. He takes part in the conversations and stuff, and he's like a full-on contributor. Might as well call him a host, but he's like, I guess, the tech guy. I don't know what all he does. Like, when stuff has to show up on screen so the viewer can see it, it's like he's the one that does it. So whatever that position is called. And then he also has a different show, also on YouTube, with, oh gosh, I can't remember the guy's full name. It's David something. Sorry, David something. His other show is called Left Reckoning. And you know how the Republicans and even the Democrats do with that what you will. What the Democrats call, like, the left of center, the hard left. Like, it's really lame and a bummer, because we're not like a terrorist organization. We just want more for the people and less for the donors, and the donor people demonize the hard left. So anyway, the Majority Report is, I would say, their bent is definitely social democrat at the least, and definitely somewhat communist. And wow, why did my eyebrows go up so high? I know that. I already knew that. But calm down, don't worry. Like, people, either they don't even know communism is a thing that is possibly a concern. Depends where it is taking place, because it doesn't act the same way every place it has appeared. Although it doesn't really have like a great record. But anyway, it's the ideals of it more than they're actually, like, I don't know, doing whatever it is people that don't really know about communism are afraid the communists in America are doing. It's certainly not, like, malicious, and the ones you gotta worry about are the ones in charge right now, in the government, like, at the top. Those are the ones, not the communists. Dang it, I didn't make my tea. Ooh, but I can pause this camera. Be right back. Okay. Got the tea. So, the Majority Report, the episode that I was watching had this guy that is, I guess, a religious fundamentalist, and it was sorry, I got ahead of myself. The reason why Sam was talking to this particular guy, which I will go back into, is because he was at this event called a Jubilee, and you'll have to look into that to know more about it, because I don't know more than that. I just know that it was seemed like a place where there were a bunch of conservatives literally encircling and surrounding Sam as they interrogated him. Pretty much. It was just weird. Like, everyone was getting there, trying to get their jabs in, but he was, however, hold on, somewhat overwhelmed a couple of times because he was being met with people that were saying things that they just knew to be the truth, which Sam and also I and other people are like, dude, that's just wrong. Like, where you get your crazy information from? And they're so sure, and they already know how he's gonna act and what he's gonna do. So they're like, you're just gonna lecture me again, and you're just gonna tell me, and it's like they're like, you're attacking me, and it's like, he's not attacking you, he's just correcting you, and you don't like it. So this particular guy, though, in the episode, I'll link that. Let me write myself a note. The particular guy that I'm referring to, though, was a religious guy, and he was like mad and, put out that, he just, like everybody there, I felt like he just wanted to get his licks in for everything that he's watched over there, like the past 10 years from the left that offended him. And Sam, like he went on Tim Pool, because Tim Pool foolishly wanted to debate him, and then I forgot. I was going to say Sam went on there and made him regret it, but I forgot that Sam went on there with his laptop, so every time Tim tried to argue with him and say that he didn't say something or something wasn't true or was wrong, Sam just whipped out his laptop and, well, here it is, and then like played the guy saying the thing that he's now saying he didn't say, and Tim Pool just got madder and madder and madder. It was just sort of like, I don't know, like a spiral eating itself, like really angry, just getting tighter and tighter. I want to say sphincter. Sorry, but he was getting that uptight. Excuse me. Sorry, and now I probably have made you forget what I was talking about. But the religious guy was kind of alarming in like another way. He was talking with Sam about religious society versus civil society, and the guy that Sam was talking to clearly has no understanding at all what civil is versus religious, because he like, I don't know if it was like, it seemed like it was involuntary, but he was asking questions to make Sam answer that were like angrily, educate me. That wasn't the way he was saying it, but the questions he would ask or the statements that he would say that were like very accusatory, or sometimes just plain accusations even, because he, whatever, wasn't kind of strictly sticking to the debate form. He was getting all emotional. So it was coming down to like, the religious guy was kind of saying, you need more religion to have morals and for everybody to be good and right. And Sam was going, well, I mean, you can have the good and right and the morals without the religion. It could be a civil. And the guy was just like, no, it has to be religion. Like, if you don't have the religion, nothing works or something. And the thing, like, all of that is not like not my cup of tea. Hold on, let me have a drink. But it came down to children at one point, which the religious guy brought it up, because I don't remember the exact context, which is why I'll go ahead and link it. I didn't write. When I was gonna link, all I wrote was link. I'm really bad at that. There. So, the guy I noticed, though, it was sort of like a non-point when he brought it up. It was like outside of the scope of what Sam had said, basically. Like, he just kept trying to drag it all these places, the conversation, where Sam was like, we don't have to go there, though, to have the conversation. And this guy was insistent on it. I'm sure you've met someone like that. But this guy talked about children as if they only existed if they came from a married couple that was together, which just made me think of the other things that I'm working on right now, which is still trying to formulate how to present a message that two different shows together sort of meet at the meeting place where they sort of blend. And I don't know, it's a lot. But one of the main characters in one of those shows lives in foster care, grew up in foster care, like is just aging out of it. And it's just interesting that is like such a big deal right now. And then, like, I'm a regular viewer of Law and Order, and a lot of times on SVU, foster kids and families and those situations come up a lot. And then I'm a big fan of the show Will Trent on ABC, and two of the main characters grew up in foster care. So I don't know, it's obviously not just me. I have no control over those, network shows' content. But it's interesting that there are so many foster people out there, or orphans. There's a lot of people out there that don't have that nuclear family group, I guess is what I'm saying. And I wanted this to be short, and I'm already going way longer. But I guess I said all of that to kind of, I don't know, I guess I'm bringing the foster people conversation into my conversation. Because it is coming up a lot in what I'm seeing, like what I'm viewing, and then also, like, I think there's people where I live here that were in the system or have had kids in the system. Definitely. I know someone at least, well, more than, yeah. There are a lot of them here too. And I'm thinking, why is that? Like, I guess we'll find out why that's important, because it can't just be me experiencing that. But anyway, back to the cards. I guess bringing up all of that about the other show and the guy and the discussion and the religion and the kids and the civil versus religion in society, that is like bubbles in the cauldron of us, stuff not married very well in the seasoning pot. So anyway, these cards though that I am using, the Inner Fucking Peace cards, that's the name of the deck. I figured out I like them, but they're not what I thought I was getting. But that's what happens when you order stuff online, and they're fine. They do perform the necessary function. There's just like it's not jokey. I don't think it is jokey, but they're serious about it. And to me, there's always this element of like saying signs, like live, love, laugh, live, whatever, those signs, sayings, signs. And I'm just giving you a prelude to, I think I actually pulled a card that's going to talk about this. But I've decided that they're Winecore. W-I-N-E. Winecore. You'll see. So, this was before. Well, no, I pulled the cards after I saw that stuff I was talking about, that Majority Report video, but I really had no. When I decided to pull them at all, it was just for my own, purposes, practice, whatever. So here's the first one. Pretty clear what it says. The air balloons, well, I mean, I guess that's what they are. Passenger balloons? Recreational balloons and things I wouldn't get into to save my life. No, thank you. If you're up that high, you're getting a wider perspective than you had on the ground. Like, perhaps this religious guy could widen his perspective by looking up the word Sybil. If you're gonna argue with someone, everyone can always use more ammunition if you're gonna be in a debate. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of people up there, I'm noticing, and that's interesting because, completely aside from anything I've just said, there are this month supposed to be a lot of spiritual awakenings, which could also mean that people's perspectives are like getting cracked open, and wow, I just saw like I guess it was a closed perspective, look kind of like a nutshell that just sort of cracks open, and then up comes the air balloon. So, wow, okay, so that's like a drastic transition to go from inside your nutshell to, I mean, your perspective is going to be pretty limited if you're sort of in like an embryonic sort of closure, and that's what I'm feeling like the nutshell would have been. And then you get to come out and go up and out, and there's all this other stuff to see. Like, it's got to be very overwhelming. So, but yeah, like that guy could very much, I think, benefit from just looking up the word civil as opposed to religious. Civil society versus, I mean, it's not that hard to find stuff out to like go beyond your enclosure and widen your perspective. So the other side of this says, give that shit up. Because there's better shit on the horizon. And here is the next one. And those are crystal clusters, in case you are wondering. These people probably already know this, but for those who don't, crystals like quartz and such, rose quartz, so that's just a different kind of quartz. Anyway, it says, awaken to tiny beautiful things at every turn. I love that. I love finding, like, Waldo. Like, where's Waldo? Or I like those pictures that you sometimes see online that it's like an illustration of, like, the same thing. Like a page, like, covered with the same thing. And then you gotta find one of the same thing that's slightly different. I love that. Or, here's one. I often feed, like, cats. I leave food out on my porch. And, I gotta put some out now because of this. Especially. But also because of the cats. But slugs come to feed on the spilled kibble. And I have no problem with that. It's like silvery fairy writing. I know it's not that. I know it's from a slug ass. I don't care. I like it to be the fairy ink, and so I hadn't had it out there for a while because there's lots of dogs, and then the dogs just come along and often they're not on a leash, and the people that are with the dogs are not watching their dog, just running loose up and down, and then they come and just gobble up all the food, which is usually the reason why it's all over the ground. But anyway, I was out there letting my cat out this morning, and I saw that a dog had been by and hoovered up all the food that was there. And I hope some slugs got some, because like usually, like the owners, if they catch them at it, they'll say, hey, don't do that. But they're not real strict on the dogs. And so usually they won't eat up every single bite. And I don't think it was my cat, because my cat can just come in. Like, I'm pretty attuned to like how long he's out there, and I check until he is ready to come in. So he's not really out there long enough to be starving and eating every single kibble, especially when there's some just inside the door. Like, it's not important, but these are the permutations that my thinking goes through. So anyway, I got there this morning, let out the cat, all the kibble is gone, and I look down and see the snail trails, and it looks like, this is mind-blowing, because I've seen this sitting out there before. I don't know if you know this, but a spider can travel from, like, a building to a fence with nothing in between to, like, latch onto, so to speak, because they can send their web filaments into the air and ride, like, electrical currents or something like that. And I've seen it captured on, like, PBS, and it's all, like, studio situation, and it's dark, and the spider and the web are silhouetted, and it's slow motion, and the web goes out, and the spider catches it, or, I don't know, it's, like, crazy. And it happens crazy fast, but I have been sitting out there meditating, and I have actually seen it happen right in front of my face twice, which, obviously, you can see I was thrilled about. So, the food is all gone. I'm looking at the ground, noticing the food is all gone, and there's snail trails down there, and it totally looks like a spider, like big old spider butt. I don't know if it was 8 legs, but enough to give the impression of it being a spider. And it literally was in like this position with one spider leg up, and then there was like a really skinny swirl of snail trail that could have been a spider web filament. And I was like, really? I mean, I've looked down there and seen things, like I've gotten things that look like a flower, like a simple flower, but definitely a flower, many times. And I'm like, are they like giving me flowers because I leave them kibble? Right on. I love that. So, awaken to tiny beautiful things at every fucking turn, because really they're everywhere, and everything is just amazing. And like, I'm relatively sober right now, and I'm most certainly not on like ayahuasca or something, and I'm, oh my god, the wonders of nature. But they are wondrous, and I feel so grateful to have been able to see that web in the air. Like, the spider was definitely launching off from the building, and there was like 12 feet between my deck and the nearest bush and fence. So it's kind of more, I think, than that, even like 15, maybe, I don't know. It's, several steps, and I've gotten to see that. So, embrace your tiny inner Buddha. I don't know, be one with your world around you, basically. I don't know that anyone needed a translation, but you got one anyway. So, here is the next one. Oh, okay. So, you can see there's like a humanoid form. The head seems to be missing some vital stuff like hair and ears. But humanish. And interesting, they've got that, it almost looks like that glow is like in their hands, as if they're holding an energetic beach ball. So it reads, "The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off." And boy, that is nothing more. I don't know what. Let me try this again. If that doesn't sound like the times that we are currently living through in the United States right now, I don't know what does. Because, like, I've talked about FOFO before. Everyone's pretty familiar with it. Just fuck around and find out acronym. And the FOFO that seems to be on like a slow increasing roll right now is MAGA figuring out that they've been messed up by voting again for Trump, because everything was just a shill to get you to buy his stuff, to get you to believe in him, to get you to vote for him. And more every day, finally, people are seeing that it's true what everyone else that wasn't for Trump was saying. The emperor ain't got no clothes, yo. The dude's totally fake. Car salesman stuff, people have been calling him that for years. He lived it out for everyone to see publicly. And then to help his buddy whose fortunes are sinking like a lead balloon. Teslas are going down. You know they're extremely heavy. I mean, not like cars are light, but evidently they weigh as much as like a military tank or something. And look, sorry, the Schadenfreude is strong in me right now. Can't help it. And if I pronounce that wrong, well, I am sorry. But, there are YouTube channels that are all about Tesla vehicles blowing up or hurting people like pretty badly, like injuring them, the owners of the cars. And just, how are people trying to take those things off-road? I know this is completely off the subject, but they don't have any undercarriage clearance. Like, even if you put big wheels on them, you gotta, like, cut the car to accommodate for big wheels. I have not seen any, like, monster truck, I don't even know what they're called, but they're, I guess, suspension extensions that, they'll have, like, big, stupid wheels on, like, a pickup truck, a regular domestic pickup truck. But then they have to put all this bar and spring situation to lift the car so that the carriage clears the stupid wheels. The Teslas don't have that. I think I've seen a couple that tried to cut the frame, but what in the hell did you cut that with? It doesn't seem like it's worth the trouble. But I'm a bicycle person. Your cars are great. Trucks and vans. I've had, a couple of all of them, I guess. But, everything that you have to do to have them and maintain them, and the rules of the road and the insurance and you gotta protect everything from other people. Like the conversion thing for the anti-smog, or the catalytic converter, or there's always something, or some model becomes hot, and it's like the car that everybody wants to steal. It's like, oh my god. If you're gonna go through all that, might as well have a bicycle. At least if you lose it all, you can replace it without losing years of your life, at the poor farm. Sorry, it was a little bit of personal angst coming out. But yes, the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off. So that's the FOFO stage we're in right now. It's not everyone, but some of us are just looking on. This says, and you will champion your truth like a mofo and rest on the seventh day. So wine core, so saying sign. But, the sentiment is what matters here. It's maybe not the delivery. So, yeah, listen, once you find out the truth, after you get through being hurt, like, once you go through the 7 stages of grief, you will be angry like a mofo, like that. You're pissed off and you want to fix it, or you want to fix somebody's wagon or something of that order. And rest on the 7th day. Okay. I don't really know what to do with that. That was kind of dumb, in my opinion. Saying sign. Okay, so the last one says, give me Nirvana, I can dance to. And I have to say, as a huge fan of Nirvana, with some sort of couple of times removed associations with the group Nirvana, I'm not a dancer, for one thing, and I don't really know if Nirvana is one of the ones that you want to try to dance to, but you never know. I'm not talking about like slam dancing or moshing. I mean like people trying to dance to stuff that... Anyway, so it says, give me Nirvana, I can dance to on the one side, and then if I turn it over, it says, like no one's watching, or if they are, just give it up. Like, I guess just dance, fool. So, that's one of the good things about these, is that they are jokey, and you gotta have that, like, there's a lot going on, and a lot that is affecting, like, our minds and our souls. They're like, you think things are one way, and everybody knows change is gonna happen, but there's a lot of kind of like dick bag stuff happening. The changes are of that nature, and it's pissing you off too when you understand that, like, the people trying to make the changes, like what their motivations are for doing it, and that they're lying to you about what their motivations are, and you find out what the actual ones are. That is, learning the truth and setting you free to go off on people doing you wrong. It is time for that, though, because the same people who are like all pissy now that, we're like sick of this stuff and we want our rights. We don't want it to be a pyramidal type situation. Because you know what? Even if a pyramid is the shape of things, there is a constant. It's still a collective. The whole thing is interdependent, There's no top without a bottom to hold it up, So, the wealthy people need to just get on over their little attitude problems now and stop lashing out and hurting people, because ultimately, you idiots, you're going to be hurting yourselves if you make it so hard for people that they have no money to spend, or if you just don't allow them to have money to spend, or if you try to imprison everybody. You're not, like, your whole system is going to collapse, dorks, And also, the way you're doing things, like, this is a sticking point for me, or it really sticks out in my mind. The homeless thing, the homeless people are treated so badly, and it's like, it can happen to anyone. Like, even if you're really, really super rich, you could be at the tippy top of that pyramid, but your ass could also fall, because gravity can come in a lot of different forms. You might not recognize it as the truth setting people free and them yanking the hell off, like yanking you the hell off the top. That could be what gravity looks like for you, pal. And I actually would rather that everyone just like snap out of it and go, oh man, we're really screwing up. Let's like work together and do things right and stop fighting with each other, because that's getting in the way of making anybody happy. But that would be too much like smart. Like we're not there yet. So that is the temperature of us for now, in my opinion. Thank you and good night.